Hello again everyone and welcome to the Noble Crumb. My name is Jason. Today I'm going to be doing a cake recipe for you today, and it's going to be for a carrot cake. This carrot cake to me is just absolutely delectable. We're going to add a nice cream cheese frosting, which I usually put on everything, and I'm also going to top it with some walnuts for a little bit of added flavor and crunch. I'm doing them as cupcake size today just because these are ones I'm going to be sharing with some people. You can do this in like two 9-inch cake pans, a bundt can, or like a, what do you call it, like a 9x13 pan as well. So I'm going to give you the cooking times for that as well, just because obviously that'll adjust based on the size. But here are all the ingredients that you're going to need for our carrot cake. All right, and here is everything you're going to need to make our carrot cake. We're going to use 1 cup of oil, 2 cups of sugar, 4 eggs, 1/4 cup of sour cream, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 3 cups of shredded carrot. We're going to bake this at 325. I'm making cupcakes today, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes to bake. If you're going to use two 9-inch cake pans, it'll be around 25 to 30 minutes. A 9x13 pan takes about 40 to 45 minutes. And a bundt cake pan will take about 45 to 50 minutes. Basically, you just want to make sure that it comes out toothpick clean. When they're done, we're going to top it with cream cheese frosting and a sprinkling of walnuts. For my cream cheese frosting, here's everything you're going to need. We're going to use 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese, a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, 3 to 4 cups of powdered sugar to your taste, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, so we're going to start with our dry ingredients. So I've got my mixing bowl here, and to that, we're going to start with 2 cups of flour. And if I can get it, there's the second one. Next up, we're going to add in, if I can grab it here, we're going to add in our 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Apparently I can't multitask. I'm having issues today. Next up with that is we're going to add in our 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm having issues getting it out of the box. There we go. It's one of those days apparently. Let's see. Okay. And then our ground cinnamon. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. That one's coming out a lot easier. Perfect. And now one of my favorite spices of all time is nutmeg. So we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, but apparently I have to use my 1/2 teaspoon measure because the container's too small. So that's 1/2, 2/2, so 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. And now with that, I'm just going to take my whisk and we're just going to mix this all together, and then we'll move on to our wet ingredients. Okay, so moving on to our wet ingredients. So I have my stand mixer here fitted with my whisk attachment, and the first thing we're going to add is 2 cups of sugar. I know it's a lot, but this is where the sweetness for the cake comes in. So 2 cups of sugar in there, and now we're going to add in 1 cup of oil. I'm using just a canola oil. Vegetable oil works fine as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give this a quick mix just to kind of combine the two together. And of course, in usual fashion, I forgot something. We're going to add in our 1 teaspoon of vanilla with this as well. And now we're going to mix it. Okay, so now that my sugar, oil, and vanilla are all kind of combined, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in my 1/4 cup of sour cream. And we'll give this a good mix just again to get everything combined together. So one quick note about this recipe and with regards to the sour cream. So you might notice that sometimes in different recipes it'll ask for buttermilk or sour cream. The reason for this is they have a lot of acid in them, and that acid will actually help break down the gluten in the flour. What that does is that going to lead to a more tender crumb in your cake. So that's one of the reasons I typically try to use it in a lot of different ones. But not all of them, just some. But I find a lot of times when I do it, you get a little bit extra added taste, and then you are going to get a way nicer crumb of the cake that I find. So that's the reason for the sour cream in this cake. Okay, so now that that is all combined, now we can start adding in our eggs. So we're using 4 eggs today, and we're gonna add these one at a time. So you're gonna crack one into the bowl, let it whisk up really good until it's combined, and then we'll add the next one. And we'll do this until all 4 eggs are completely combined. All right, and now that all 4 eggs have been fully combined in here, we're gonna grab our dry ingredients and we'll start mixing them together. Okay, so I'm gonna bring over my dry ingredients and we'll start again adding this into the wet ingredients. Scoop that in there. And you can go ahead and just add it all in. And of course, I forgot, this is when we're going to want to switch over to our paddle attachment. So 2 seconds here, we're going to add our paddle attachment because we just want to not whip it in, we just want to blend it in. So I'm going to do this on a low speed and just until it is all pretty much combined, and then we will go ahead and add in the carrot at the end. Now, just like everything else that I've been talking about before, we do not want to overmix. Overmixing this is going to work that gluten and it's going to create a really tough crumb, and we don't want that. So we're going to give this a scrape down, and when you're scraping, always make sure you get all the way down to the bottom because that is where those little things or little pockets of flour are going to hide, and we don't want that because you're working hard enough as it is. Right. And at this point, we're going to add in our 3 cups of shredded carrot. The one thing that is super healthy about this. I'm going to turn the mixer back on and I'm literally just going to mix it until combined. And then we're done. Now with my carrot cake, it is very basic and kind of goes back to the roots of what a classic carrot cake may be. You'll probably come across a lot of different variations. A lot use pineapple. I've never really been a fan of the pineapple in it, so I leave it out. But a lot of people too will add in things like raisins, nuts, dried cranberries, or even I've done one in the past with like what are those called? Those little butterscotch chips. That adds a really fun flavor. So please feel free again, get creative, have fun, add those mix-ins and make the cake your own, but that's a really nice option for a carrot cake as well. Okay, so as I said, I'm doing these as cupcakes today. So I have a jumbo 24 cup cupcake pan, and I am using my 2-inch scoop to get the exact amount required to go into each cup. Again, if you don't have one of these scoops, you're going to want to fill this up about 2/3 of the way. Overfilling is going to create these huge domes on your cupcakes, which you actually don't want. And underfilling, obviously, you're not going to have enough in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill up all of these cupcake containers. Okay, so all my cupcake papers are full. So now these are going to go into the oven at 325 for about 15 to 20 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. And when you press down on the top, you can feel that it's solid. My finger's not going to sink into it. So 325 for 15 to 20. Okay, so it's been about 18 minutes for me here, and take a look at these. They puffed up to the right height, and they look absolutely delicious. The smell is amazing. When I press down with my finger, it springs back, and I'm just going to grab my little toothpick here, and when I pull it out, the toothpick is clean. So these are going to cool now to room temperature. All right, so we're gonna make some cream cheese icing here. So I've got my mixer and my paddle attachment. To that, we're gonna add in a half a cup of room temperature butter, unsalted butter, and then 1 full 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Perfect. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna eyeball that. And then we're going to let this beat up until it's nice and soft and airy. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now, total you're going to use about 3 to 4 cups. Again, just based on your taste preference. So I'm going to start by adding, that's probably about 3/4 of a cup. We're just going to slowly mix that in. You don't want a big cloud of powdered sugar everywhere. And I'm going to add some more, so probably about a good cup. Add that. I'm going to give this a good scrape down again. Da-da-da. Okay, all the way to the bottom. And if I can figure out how to scrape my spatula, there we go. And I'm going to add in about another cup. Mix that in. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to give it a quick taste for sweetness. I'm going to use another half cup about. And get that in there. And I'm going to do another scrape. Okay. Give this another mix. Okay, and I'm going to test for sweetness again. Okay, so for sweetness level, that's good for me. I think that was, I lost count, probably about 3.5 cups. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat this for a good 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, let's take a look here. Take the paddle off, try not to make a mess. So look at that consistency. Nice, thick, super smooth. So at this point, I'm going to transfer this into my piping bag because I'm going to pipe it onto my cupcakes. Okay, so I have my piping bag here, and I've got it fitted with, a closed-ended star tip. I'm going to put this into just a tall empty glass. It's the easiest way to fill it. And we'll start adding in cream cheese frosting. We'll see if I can do this without making a mess, because I am one of those people where mess just seems to follow me in the kitchen. I think I'm getting better as time goes on, but it's just a reality. Okay. Not going to overfill my bag. So, my piping bag is full. Just going to give it a little twist. Now, at this point, it is about 30 degrees here right now. I'm going to pop this into the fridge for about 10 minutes just to let it get a little firmer because it is melting in front of my eyes. And then I'm going to show you and we'll pipe it onto the cupcakes. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish off these cupcakes. So I've got one of my beautiful carrot cake cupcakes. And I'm going to take my cream cheese icing that I have in my piping bag. And I am not the best piper, but just like that, make a nice little rose. And to finish it off, I've got some beautiful little walnut pieces here. Actually, I'm going to show you. That rose looks pretty good. Finish it off with a couple pieces of walnuts that I apparently put on the plate. And that is how I would finish this off. You can ice, if you did it in a cake form, ice your cake as normal. You can omit the walnuts if you want, but I have to say, these look absolutely beautiful. Alright, and just like that, my carrot cake recipe is all yours. I really hope you guys give this one a try. Let me know what you think. And of course, as always, like, comment, subscribe, all of those fun things. And I will see you guys here next time at the Noble Crumb. Have a great day. Bye.